What's going on Facebook? It is July 25th now, and it's 1:21 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I've got Alex Flores, the general manager of Capital Chevrolet in Austin, Texas. Pretty large store, pretty big Chevy store, and I've been following Alex for I think about 2 years now. He has a little desk out on the floor and is always involved with his team and has probably some of the most interesting sales meetings I've ever had a privilege to be a part of. So I want to talk about Alex and his time in the car business and what he's learned and some of the things that he's used to get to where he's at. So Alex, how long have you been in the car business?
Well, this year it'll be 26 years, Jason.
26 years. Wow. You don't look 26 years old.
I know. I wish I was 26. That'd be great.
How old were you when you got in the business?
So that would have been 23.
23 years old. Wow.
Yes,
what was
sir.
the first brand you sold?
It was actually, and I'm sorry, I was wrong. That was I was 21, 26 years ago. My very, very first brand was actually Honda.
Honda.
Yes.
Wow.
I got hired at a store that at the time it wasn't that big, but it was growing. It ended up actually selling to Penske Auto Group. It was a 4 rooftop auto center. We had Honda, Toyota, Oldsmobile, and Hyundai at the time. And it was, I learned a lot. It was my first job. I used to be a waiter before that. And a gentleman that used to come in and see me all the time kept telling me, "You're wasting your talent, Alex. You've got a great personality. You are really good at what you do. You need to come sell cars." And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. My father, my biological father, actually sold cars. And so I knew kind of what the business, entailed, and the hustle, the grind. And so I never grew up wanting to be one. I wanted to be a cop, to be honest with you. That's what I really wanted to do with my life.
Right.
But I said, you know what, give it a shot. And I started back then, and it's been an amazing journey and amazing life for me since I started the car business.
Yeah, that's crazy. You came out of hospitality and got recruited from hospitality by people coming into the restaurant, it sounds like.
Yes, and I do that all the time now, Jason. I mean, I go to restaurants, and I don't mean to, but I've got a salesperson right here that used to be my favorite waiter at Eddie V's. I kind of regret it because now I don't have a good waiter there. But he is amazing. He's a really good guy, and he's learning the business. And it just reminds me of, how this business can transform lives, and if you do the right thing, and if you come in and you listen to your managers and you really take the time to learn this business just like you would if you were going to be an engineer or a doctor or real estate agent, whatever. If you take the time and you apply yourself, you can do really, really well.
I would have to agree. I mean, I didn't come from the best upbringing myself, and I've been able to turn my life around completely. You wouldn't even think I was the same person that I was, 20 years ago. So you're the general manager of a Chevy dealership now, right? I think you're the general manager now.
Yes. So, I moved up to the ranks, and I was that salesman that sold a lot of cars. I sold for actually 8 years, 8 very long years. And I was that salesman that kept coming to the GM saying, "Hey, I want to get promoted. I want to get promoted." And at the time, it was really frustrating because I felt like I kept being passed on and people kept getting promotions and they would bring people from other places. And it was discouraging at the time. And I felt like, man, they don't appreciate me. They don't want to promote me because I sell so many cars. I did sell a lot of cars. I averaged 25 to 30 cars a month when I sold cars every single month. Even more than that. I think my best month was 36.
Right.
But, it was discouraging. But at the same time, now looking back, I'm very grateful that it happened like that, because the fact that I sold cars for 8 years and I was really good at it, it really made me a really good salesperson. I see a lot of managers nowadays that get promoted 6 months after they've been doing this business,
Right.
or a year into it, even a year and a half or 2 years into it. And then, they don't learn how to be a salesperson, the way they should. And
Right.
therefore not able to coach their people. So it's been a blessing for me. So again, I was a salesperson for 8 years, and then I got promoted in 2000, or the end of 99 actually. And I've been a manager since. I've been a manager for 20 years now. Of course, I was a new car manager, used car manager, new car director, used car director, general sales manager. And now I'm blessed to be the general manager of the #1 Chevy dealer in Texas, the number one Chevy dealer in Austin, selling about 700 to 750 cars a month on a consistent basis, and having an incredible team.
Yeah, you do have an incredible team there. I know they're all excited and motivated to come into work. The atmosphere is just completely different than most atmospheres. So how is it? When I met you, you were the GSM, so you really didn't have much of the service side to worry about. How's the service side been treating you since you took over as GM?
Well, since I took over, we've grown 700%.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yes. It was the same results that we saw in sales. We saw the same thing happen in service. It was incredible. We went from, I can't even tell you the numbers. It's just ridiculous the kind of business we're doing now. And it's funny because, me not having any background in service, I mean, always been at a dealership for 2 decades. You understand kind of how it works, but you really don't know. So when I became a GM, I made a decision to treat the service the same as I would the sales department. So the way my theory was, hey, you know what? The advisors are my salespeople, and the technicians are my finance people. So I trained everybody, and I put processes in place. And you know this already, Jason, because you own your own company. You're very successful at what you do. You put processes in place, and you don't have to know. I don't have to know how to turn wrenches. I don't have to learn how to fix a car.
Right.
I would love to, because I have a 61 Impala. That'd be amazing if I could. But you don't have to do that. But you do have to know how to put a process in place and hold your people accountable, inspect what you inspect, and take care of your customers. And if you just do that and you stay on top of it, you're going to see the results. And that's what happened to us.
And I think also taking care of your people, because I think I recently saw a dinner where you'd taken your service manager and service team out to dinner because of the results that they've been getting. So I think it's also taking care of them, as well as, everyone can put in processes and crack the whip, but good leadership has a good mix of both. It has a good mix of, getting out there, putting the steaks on the barbecue, letting them know you're there to serve them.
Yes.
And like you said, you don't have to know service in order to be able to run a successful service department. You really just have to surround yourself with the right people and know how to motivate those people so that they do what they're supposed to be doing to drive the numbers up.
And also, with that said, I do want to make one thing clear, that I didn't know anything going in. I've spent extensive amount of hours, Jason. I wake up really early at 4 a.m, 4:30, whatever. And in the beginning, I spent hours, thousands of hours, just researching and studying, effective labor, hours per hour, dollars per hour, bay management. I mean, productivity, efficiency. I mean, I wanted to master this, and I wanted to learn how to do it, because, what you don't know, you don't know. So it wasn't just about, I went over there and I said, come on, guys, we got to do this. Let's go kill it. That's not what happened. I didn't want to go in there and them looking at me like, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Right. So I wanted to make sure to go in there, understanding what their struggles were, what were the things that were slowing them down, and how could I help them. And that's what I really focused on. And that's what we saw, such a tremendous growth.
Yeah, getting up early and going to Starbucks to study is definitely key if you're going to take over something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be able to understand it. So 700 plus cars you're selling out of that dealership. How many cars are on the ground?
We've got about, I would say 800 new and about 250 used, if that. We are kind of like in a location that we grew so much that we have no room. So people always think I have this crazy inventories out here, but I really don't. The dealerships that we compete with, I mean, they'll probably have 2,500 to 3,000 new cars on the ground, and sometimes 500-600 used cars. We don't, not because we don't want to, it's just we don't have room for it. So we have to really get really good at and train our people, which, as you know, Jason, I do trainings twice a week.
Yep.
Extensive training, an hour and 20 minutes or more sometimes. We have to get really good, or have our team be really good at selling what they see, not seeing what they sell.
Right. Yeah.
And so yes, sir. So we really follow a good process where we're able to land customers on the right cars. And then with the partnerships that we have with vendors like you and other good vendors out there, we work together and we make the best of it, man.
Yeah, I think that's an important part because I mean anyone can sell cars with the right amount of inventory sitting on the ground. It's really easy to sell cars if you have 2,000 cars sitting on the ground. But to move those kind of numbers with less inventory is definitely takes a strong sales process. I'm assuming that the Classic in Dallas is the largest your largest Chevy competition in the state.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They have it. That's an amazing group. Mr. Duran, he knows what he's doing, and he's been doing it for a long time. And in fact, he was a motivation for me when I first came to Chevrolet. I did research and I found out who was the big dog in Texas, and it's Mr. Duran. And he, for years and years and years and years, and I even made a visit to his store. I walked in his store and asked for Mr. Duran, and I was fortunate that people were super nice and took the time to talk to me, and I sat down with Mr. Duran, and I told him I want to be like you. I want to one day be able to do what you've done for so long. And of course, we're not even close to doing, because this has only been 3.5 years. You know, this gentleman has been doing it for many years, and I have a lot of respect for him and what he does. So, but yes, but not right now. As of now, we are, you know, I am proud to say that we are selling more cars than them right now, and
Good
but
job.
we got to stay on top of it, and we have to stay humble, and of course, you know, be respectful and classy, and know that, you know, the Bible says be careful, because when you think you're standing firm, you may fall. So we have to constantly stay on top of it, and like I said, you know, just do the right thing.
Yeah, we just had a morning meeting, and it was about climbing. It was something about climbing Mount Everest, and it said it's easy to fall off of Mount Everest. It takes a lot of work to climb up Mount Everest.
Exactly.
So we actually work with a couple of the Classic stores. We do not work with that particular store, but we work with the Classic store that's down in Houston.
Sugarland.
Yeah, the Chevy store in Houston, and then we got their Buick GMC store and a Kia store, and you know, quite a few of the Classic stores we've got. But we do not work with that Chevy store that's in Dallas. So 750 cars. Where was this dealership at when you started?
It was in 200 range, Jason. So we definitely we are, as you know already, the Cinderella story for Chevrolet and General Motors, because we grew so much. And what I think is even more amazing about our story is not just that we're selling a lot of cars, is that we're doing it the right way.
Right.
There is no, you know, it's full transparency. Our CSI is higher than it's ever been. Our per copy is very good, so we haven't suffered there. Sometimes businesses, in order to grow, they have to, you know, sacrifice profit, and we've been thankful and grateful that we haven't been able to had to do that so far. And of course, you know, repeat customers, the branding of the dealership, our advertising, you know, strategy that we have, digital, Facebook, all the things that you talk about all the time, and just getting here every day and working it. Because if you're not in the store and working it, it's not going to happen. The store's not going to work itself. You got to come in and you got to go to work.
Yeah, you definitely have a very mixed blend of advertising, because I have seen the budget, and I do know that your advertising is very mixed, and you do have traditional still mixed into your advertising. And I've actually been in Austin and seen your commercials on TV while I was there. So I think your advertising strategy is definitely working. So from 200 to 750, is that in 3 years? You've been there 3 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
We went from 200 to, I think the first year we bumped it up to about, on an average, 350, 400. Then the second year, 550, 600, and now we're in the 750. And I just had a meeting with my managers and told them that, in fact, they had to do. It was because of you, actually, because you did that interview with that kid, Bill Half. Is that his name?
Still have?
Yeah, and he was talking about a store he worked at where I guess they sold 300 and something cars with 20 salespeople. So I said, well, hey, I did the math when I was watching this interview. If we have 60 salespeople, then we should be selling 900. So
Right.
that's our goal. We're going to do it. I promise you that. I know we're going to break 800 this year for sure, or excuse me, close to 850. And then we're going to go for 1,000 cars, and we're going to do it. It's going to take a lot of work. We're going to have to be extremely, extremely focused, and everybody's going to have to come in here and stay on top of it. But I know we can do it.
I think with some weekday focusing some traffic during the weekday, because I know your weekends are slammed. I mean, you guys are crazy busy pretty much Friday through Saturday. I mean, the entire weekend you're running around crazy. On a typical weekend, Friday and Saturday, how many cars are you guys selling there? Just to put this into perspective.
Friday, our goal is to do 40 on Friday, which is not where I really wanted to be. I want to really do 50 to 60, but we do about 40, and then Saturdays we'll do 70 to 80 cars every single Saturday.
Yeah, that's a lot of cars on Saturday.
Yes.
So I mean, you guys have to be crazy busy. All your sales guys have to be busy. All your finance people have to be busy. Where do you think the gears could be oiled to squeeze out those extra car deals? Outside of staff and training salespeople, is there any processes in the dealership that you think could have a better flow that would result in customers getting in and out faster?
Sure. Time kills deals. So my biggest concerns are always, how long is it taking for a customer to get a quote? Because the customer's only going to wait so long.
Right.
And especially the customers that are not wanting to buy. Because a customer that comes here to buy a car, they might be more willing to, sit there and wait 30 minutes for a pencil. But a customer that says, you know what, I'm not ready to buy, Alex. I just want to look around, and you say, well, let me show you what I can do while you're here. Well, that customers, you only have so much time to give them that pencil. And sometimes I think that's where a lot of dealers lose business, because they take too long to give that particular customer that pencil. So that I think we can get better at. I also think that and of course this falls on me because this is my responsibility, but we're not consistent on showing everybody lease options from the get-go. I feel like if we did that, we would probably capture even more business. I also feel like, sometimes waiting for finance and just being more organized, Jason. We've grown so much. Sometimes keys are an issue for us. We can't find keys. Cars, we have cars parked everywhere. So just being more organized, which is easier said than done.
It is.
You're dealing with the monster that I'm dealing with. But definitely, I can't sit here and look at you in the eye and tell you, oh, I'm super organized and everything's running smooth. It's not. And we need to work on it. We need to work on it.
I suffer the same challenges as we're growing, is getting organized, making sure everyone's following process. And it seems like the bigger you get, the harder it gets to manage from a general manager level or someone at the top. It definitely takes more effort to manage and make sure it's dialed in. Social media. What are you doing on social media? Is the dealership utilizing social media? Are your sales?
Oh, absolutely. We, of course, the salespeople do their own, marketing for themselves. We encourage them to do that. We've done a lot of Facebook training where we bring somebody in and show them how to market themselves. And we have some, it's like, you already know this, Jason, 50% of our staff is very good at it and consistent and a believer. The other 50%, they'll do it when we tell them to do it, and they won't do it. Right. But I when I first met you, and you said 2 years, but it's been longer than that. I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember you saying. I remember you talking about because I went and saw you when you spoke at Digital Dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that was.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm about to be one of those.
I know. I saw that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So hopefully I'll do as good as you, because you did really amazing. I remember that. Yeah, it's just some people are consistent, some people are not. But to answer your question, yes, we do push social media. We, of course, use TECOBI for Facebook leads. We also do a lot of posting from us, Capital Chevrolet. We do Instagram posts. We do Twitter, LinkedIn, everything. So we're out there, man. There's nowhere you can go or look, at least around our area, that you're not going to see Capital Chevrolet.
Right. Yeah. I actually, recently you've started doing your own live videos in the morning, and I think that's going to really help with your team and getting them to embrace Facebook a little bit more. It's uncomfortable to get on live videos. I mean, it took me a while to get comfortable doing it. And I see you doing it, so I'm actually really proud of you for doing that, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. And Digital Dealer, when is that? What are you speaking about?
It's going to be accountability, mindset of growth, and just world-class service and the culture in your dealership. And because somebody once asked me, well, Alex, what are some of if you could name 3-4 things that have made a big difference in the dealership? And I told him, because this is not the first time this happens. I was at a Toyota store that this same thing happened. We went from 200 used cars to 400 used cars, and I was the used car manager there, and I was beating new cars at a big Toyota store, and they were like, Alex, you can't keep doing this. We got to get you to new cars because used cars can't beat new cars. And I went to new cars and took that from 250 to 500.
Wow.
And oh yeah, so it's this process that I have. It's just true accountability, because people don't really know how to hold somebody accountable. They think they know, and I shouldn't say everyone, but some people out there, I think they feel like, well, I'm asking the salespeople, did you make your phone calls? And I'm telling my sales manager, hey, make sure that you talk to your salespeople today, and make sure you do your meetings. But there's a difference between true accountability and just accountability. And if you go behind them and really truly check, we call it, I'm sure you've heard this before, inspect what you expect. Right. But what does that look like? Because everybody says it all the time, but what does that really look like? How do you inspect, and what are you inspecting?
Pulling up the report, listening to the calls, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. So and hey, sometimes it takes you picking up the phone yourself.
Yep.
Calling Jason.
I remember one time because you used TECOBI and then you left and then you came back. So the first time you were on TECOBI, the process wasn't really dialed in 100%. We were struggling with the process, and I was like, Alex, they're not doing what they need to be doing. And you're like, what do I got to do? And you picked up the phone, and literally while I was, were we on video call? Because I remember seeing you while you were calling. I think we were on FaceTime or something.
Yes. And I called that guy, and he was in California. Yes, I remember that.
And you made like 3 or 4 phone calls yourself from the small little desk that you have sitting at the front of the dealership, right in front of the store.
So the last week of the month, I sit in right next to the receptionist.
Yeah.
Or right by the door. And because I want to talk to every customer that walks in and every customer that walks out.
So do you have a new car sales team and a used car sales team?
Yep, we have a new car sales team. We've got 3 sales managers and a sales director, new car sales director. Amazing team. They're incredible. And then we have 2 used car managers and a used car director. So a total of 7 desk guys.
And then any special finance department?
Yeah, of course. We have a special finance department, 2 contractors, special finance director. We've got conventional finance department. You got, let me see, 2, 4, 6, I think, 6 finance guys. And then we have our internet department, which is Hunter, and you love that guy.
Yeah.
And Hunter is the internet director. He's got a team of like 14 guys over there, and ladies, and they kick butt and take names every month.
And the used car and internet kind of share the same building. That's a little off the new car. It's a different building than the new car side.
Right. We had to do that because this dealership was not built to sell 800 cars.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, you're lucky you have that parking garage. That parking garage is your savior, because it gives you a lot of space to put cars. But if it wasn't for that, it'd be difficult to move the volume you're moving.
This dealership was built to sell tops 300 tops.
Yeah.
And we can only, people think when they hear 800 cars. I just came back from the Chevy Elite Leaders trip, and then when I told somebody that the most cars we can park in our showroom were 2, they could not believe it. They were like, wait, I say, just to put it in perspective, and not that we're like a tiny little, in the middle of nowhere little dealership, but we're not as big as people think.
No.
I mean, some of the guys that I talked to, they say they could fit 20 plus cars in the showroom.
No, the building, I mean, I can walk from one side of the building to the other in a minute. Like it's not a very big building. And like you said, I think I've only seen 2 cars. You usually have a Camaro and a truck sitting in that showroom.
Yes, sir. But it's a beautiful dealership.
Yeah, it's a beautiful,
an amazing town and amazing owners. It's an amazing family. This dealership's been around for 80 plus years. So great reputation. So it's a combination of amazing things, and we're blessed to be here, man.
Yeah, man. So loving the car business, you started in sales as just a normal sales guy selling Hondas. And
yeah, when I first started selling Hondas, and I've told the story to a lot of people, this guy, I'll never forget, told me that I probably wasn't going to make it in this business because of my accent. So he told me, look, buddy, don't waste your time. You're not going to make it. With that accent, people will never buy from you.
Right.
And I was like, well, I guess I'll take my chances, and I'll keep trying. And here I am 26 years later, very blessed, and the general manager, which, it almost seems unreal, Jason, to think that, I remember driving the GM's car to go get him, lunch, because he would let me do that because I was the top salesman, and thinking, wow, this is amazing, and now I'm the general manager. It's so to everybody out there, it just goes to show you that anybody can do it. That if you just apply yourself and you do the right thing, and you stay off drugs and stay off trouble, and you come to work, you don't stay up all night and partying and doing all those things, and are careful who you hang out with,
Yeah.
careful who you talk to. If you don't sit on social media and bash people and talk bad about people, but instead help others and try to live the life that God wants us to live, then you can live the dream that I'm living, which is, it really is a dream, the American dream, and the testimony that God is great.
Yeah. You're definitely not playing golf. So, I mean, I've known you a long time. You're not out playing golf. You've put in the work. You deserve the position you have. You deserve the success that you're having. There's just a lot of great things coming, and I can't wait for you to get to that 900. If there's anything TECOBI can do to help you get there, we're here to help. Just let us know what we got to do, and we'll man up and do what we got to do. Wish you the best of luck. So my next video is here in about 10 minutes, so I got to get prepared for that one. Anything you tell people as a final thing to tell them?
I mean, just keep grinding. I always call you the grinder, Jason, because you're a grinder. And, your story is pretty amazing, too. And I know people that are watching this video already know it. So, it's people like us. And I'm sure there's so many people out there like us with our story. Sean Hayes and so many people out there that can say, you know what? It can be done. We're showing people that anybody from humbling beginnings can do these things. And, I definitely recommend TECOBI. You guys are the real deal. You guys won't freaking leave me alone and keep texting me and calling me. And it's so annoying, but I know you care. And I wish everybody was like y'all. You guys are just too much sometimes, but, we love y'all, and we appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah, we definitely push very hard.
Yes, sir.
We're passionate about what we do. So really appreciate the kind words. Anyone out there that needs someone positive to follow, make sure that you add Alex Flores onto your friends list. He might be maxed out, but you might be able to follow him and add him. It's easy. I tagged him in this post. You can find his profile. If you're going to Digital Dealer, make sure to stop by and see him. Support him instead of the vendors that are speaking. I really like that they have dealers speaking instead of just vendors. Dealers who are out there working in the dealership on a daily basis, making things happen. So really, if you're going to Digital Dealer, make sure you stop by Alex's session and show some support. And I appreciate you coming on here, Alex. I really appreciate the support in the business and the friendship that we've had over the 2+ years that we've known each other. So let's rock and roll. Let's sell some cars, and let's get you guys to that 900 mark.
Thank you for your time, Jason, and thank you for all you do. And man, I appreciate you.
All right.
Take care, buddy. Yes, sir.